Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. I'm staying calm right now. It's Wednesday, February 5th, 2020. People, this guy needs you. I need all of you to start flooding all of your social media outlets. Start blogging. Steal my own words. You're not stealing them. I'm telling you to use them. Start a blog and start repeating what I say. Seriously, because we have got to let people really know what's going on. It is unprecedented. It is unstoppable. But it's going to end. It's going to end. I don't know a word to say here. Biblically, is that a word? I don't know. It's going to end in an absolute, complete disaster because nothing is real. Just like what happened to Tesla today. Tesla got slaughtered. There was the biggest pump and dump I have ever witnessed in all the years I am doing this. Just occurred right in everyone's face. Look, the mainstream financial channels, none more so than CNBC was involved in this pump and dump. As Tesla was taking off for no reason at all, just going parabolic, they're all hyped up about it, orgasmic, jumping around in the office, getting all ooh, all over the place, and they're getting people hyped up. People are buying the stock, buying the option, and all of a sudden today it craters. What you witnessed today with Tesla is just a fraction of what's going to happen here at one particular time. The stock market today hit new records across the board. Now, I know, again, you are not surprised about this. I've been telling you not to short this market. It's not time yet. I've been getting laughed at. Greg, it's wrong. It's time to short the market. Yeah, don't listen to Greg. Do the opposite of what he says. You remember what was happening a month or two ago? When there were actually people out there doing blogs about me. Do the opposite of what Greg is saying. I kept telling people, market's going up, market's going up. They were shorting. They got destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. And that's exactly what has probably happened to these same people here thinking that this was it. First of all, let me explain this to you. Unless you live under a rock, you understand what the new wave of news is with regard to the virus. And you are not the virus. And you should not be surprised. The media overhyped. I'm not saying, again, for those of you that are a little dense, that the virus isn't serious, okay? But it was being built up as the zombie virus, that to end humanity, we were all going to die. Cities and states and countries are going to be isolated from each other. That's it. We're going to have to break out, I don't know, nuclear fallout suits or something along those lines. Why do you think this was hyped like that by the mainstream media? Because they try to sell commercial ads. And the more people that watch their shows, oh my God, it's the virus. Oh. Yeah, the more they get people hyped up, the more, they'll get paid for the ads they want to show. So they use this as a mechanism to control the minds of millions while they got paid billions for advertising. That's all this was. They're already talking about effective antiviral therapy. I did practice medicine for 20 years. For those of you that think you're smarter than me when it comes to medicine, I don't think so. No. In fact, I'd be willing to bet no. Okay. After you practice medicine for 20 years, then you could come to me and we can talk on the same level. Until then, we are nowhere near on the level. You understand? So with that said, they're talking about effective antiviral therapy, retroviral therapy. They're talking about a possible vaccine, which may be what this is all about. So the drug companies are going to do great off of all of the hype. So again, they brainwashed millions and made billions. And it's an incredible thing. This is how it's played. It's a game. Get people afraid of something and you can control their minds. This is a tactic that has gone back in time since forever. And believe me, this is not the last one. If you fell into it, don't feel bad, and I'm being honest. This was meant to distract you. This was meant to keep you looking here, not here, being fearful. Maybe some of it was even to drive the stock market lower so some institutional players could get in here and buy that dip. And look at the stock market now, new record highs for the NASDAQ and the S&P. The Dow is not far behind either. And crude oil put on 3% today. Oh, man. But you know what? The real story is something else. And this is why I need your help. Like I said earlier. Most of us watched the president address the nation last night, and he made it, and he's right. I'm not putting the man down. The man is right. He really pushed home the point of the evils of socialism. Okay, I happen to agree with the man on that. I know I'm going to take heat for that. But the United States, we are not a socialist nation, or are we? We do subsidize everything. How many times has the president bailed out the farmers to no avail? You also do support big pharma, in case you don't know that. You also support energy with your tax dollars. Why? You tell me. Ask the president. Maybe he knows. But in the same breath, literally, the president was out here exposing to the world the evils of socialism. That day, the Federal Reserve pumped another $94 billion into the markets. And the Fed has been doing this every single day. And it's not going to stop. Today, we're going to get another 90, 100, 120 billion. Tomorrow, the same thing. So explain to me, or maybe the president, if you're there, sir, you'll have the grace, because I'm agreeing with you, Mr. President. You are correct, the evils of socialism, but why are you socializing the stock market? Why are you smiling today when the stock market just hit new record highs, but not telling anyone, nobody, that the Fed has socialized the market and is involved in an unprecedented debt expansion cycle the world has never seen. And this is causing your big, fat, ugly bubble, Mr. President, which you were correct on again. I'm going to give you credit. When you were a candidate, to now it's all good as the Federal Reserve socializes the stock market. So, Mr. President, either you are socialist number one, socialist enemy number one, because again, you're agreeing with this because you know it's going on. You got Steve Mnuchin over there pumping this market along with the Fed and everybody else. So you can't play dumb, Mr. President. All of us here are smart enough to see what's happening. All right. Now, for those of you that are triggered, tell me where I got it wrong. So the president is anti-socialism, but he believes in a socialized stock market. Unprecedented. He loves it. He's spraying his shorts. You want to see what it looks like? That's what he's doing right now as new record highs for the S&P and the NASDAQ. Again, as the market is absolutely socialized. What's the difference? Why? So we're subsidizing the stock market. Who can argue that? The Fed it's our cash. Is this the Fed's cash? Or is it's supposed to be our cash? Obviously, it's the Fed's cash, but we're led to believe that it's supposed to be ours. You know, those dollars you have in your pocket, you don't even own them. They're not yours. They're owned by the Federal Reserve and owed back to the Federal Reserve, plus interest that they print out of thin air. This is all a scheme. The socialized stock market right now is a communist market. It's rigged, like I've been explaining to you since time immemorial. The president knows it is. He knows what's going on here, but he has to tell you the evils of socialism. Because you see, you're not allowed to think for yourself. You have to be kept in the pole, this pole or that pole. You cannot go up the middle. You're not allowed to do that because then you can think. If you were allowed to think, you would say, hold it. Greg is absolutely right. Maybe I should start blogging about it. Maybe I should start a YouTube channel and do what Greg is saying. Repeat Greg's statements. We need to build this, people. My channel is so small. Yeah, great. I have 100,000 followers. It's a joke. It's nothing. We need many times that to even scratch the surface. So I'm counting on you here. If you don't want to start a blog, share these videos. What more can I tell you? Start talking about these things. And again, it will not change under any of the Democrats who are more socialist than anybody else. In fact, they are socialist, half of them. So all I'm saying is people are very interesting creatures. They want to be lied to. They want to be misled. Because if they have any light shown on them, all of a sudden, they get fearful. People want to be in the dark. You understand? There's all this argument between light and dark. Go towards the light. Go towards the light. You go towards that light, people tend to draw back from that light because they can't handle it. They can't handle truth of any kind. Of any kind. So the lies, they'll swallow. They want to dwell in the dark corners. You understand? Once they come out into the light, or any light is shown to them in any capacity, most people, 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10, will back off from that light and move back into the dark. You understand? And this mechanism is deliberate. Again, it's a mind control. It's absolute thought control. This is why the mainstream media exists, to control your thought process, to not allow you to make up your own mind. It has to be made for you by a president, by a Federal Reserve chief, by somebody else. You're not allowed to choose. You have to have everything laid out for you because the ruling class believes you are too dumb. And because of that, you are taken advantage of at every single level. Why do you think more? More than likely, you're a debt slave. Do you think this is honestly your own fault? It isn't. It is not your own fault. It's by design. Unfortunately, you led the pack. You followed the pack. You did not lead the pack. You followed the pack into debt slavery. You probably have an enormous mortgage. If you zeroed out your debts, you have a negative net worth, just like our country has. We're broke. We're the most indebted nation in the country. But then again, the president explains to you we're the richest country in the world. How does he figure that when all we're doing is borrowing from the future just to sustain where we are? Another lie. Okay? He not only is he a socialist of the highest order. This is the president, Donald J. Trump. He must convince you that what you're hearing out of my mouth is wrong. Greg is not telling you the truth. Again, if I were to stand here face to face with the president, I wonder what his response would be. I would say, Mr. President, do you believe that your Federal Reserve and you are socializing the stock market here? And I would have to hear his take on why not. They're pumping hundreds upon, if you in the aggregate, trillions of dollars into the debt market. Could you imagine what we could do with that cash? Let's see, to improve, if we really wanted to go socialist, to improve education, to improve healthcare, to improve all this stuff. But no. Instead of that cash, if we wanted to be a socialist nation, like the president wants to socialize the stock market, we would be using that cash for things that would benefit everyone, not just the 1%ers. You understand? If you can't see the game being played in front of you after this video, you are so lost and so gone. You should retreat back into the dark because the light is frankly too much for you. All right, look, with that said, cryptocurrencies did unbelievably well today. Metals did nothing, as you are more than likely aware if you follow this stuff. And you can expect, again, the cycle of debt expansion that our president will not mention a word, not a syllable, not a fraction of a word. Nothing whatsoever with regard to what is happening right now. But he will say this. This is how dumb the president thinks you are. All right, let me prove it to you right now. He'll say things like the dollar is too strong. He'll say things like we need to go negative with regard to rates. How does that happen? How does the Fed keep rates suppressed like they're doing now? Well, they do what they're doing. They get unbelievable amounts of cash added to a digital screen and buy the debt. Now, again, this fulfills their end game, their goal to become the lenders and buyers of last resort. That's what has been their plan since many, many decades. So you have to wonder, if they're being allowed to issue unprecedented amounts of debt, we've never seen anything like it, President calling for more debt, negative rates, not mentioning that he is socializing the stock market to achieve a max bubble, the maximum possible bubble he can, should let you know what's coming down the pike. The market is going to be destroyed at one point. Again, it's a deliberate act. Hyperinflate the debt bubble. Hyperinflate the stock market bubble. Okay, only to do what they have done every single time before. Boom! Pull that plug. Look at what happened to Tesla today. The same thing on an epic scale is going to happen to people, their 401k plans, their investment plans that only make cash when stocks go up are going to be wiped out. Who came up with that plan? I mean, think about it. It's by design as well. People put their cash into a 401k or some kind of investment vehicle that only makes money if stocks go up. People like myself, my lions, the investment banks, they don't care. We don't care which way the market goes. If the market goes down, we're going to make money. The market goes up, we're going to make money. Pretty much even if it stays flat, if you're trading credit spreads, you can make money, all right? But it's by design, and there's no difference. The only issue is this is the mother of them all. So anyway, I want to hear from you. What do you believe is really going on when we have a president, and I'm just picking on him because he's the president now, and it could be one of these Democrats, it could be anybody else, explaining the evils of socialism while he obviously loves it when it comes to the stock market. Hundreds of billions of dollars a day, every day, pumped into this market, into the debt market, hyperinflating that bubble, pulling the stock market with it. How is this not a known thing to most people outside my window? Clueless. Why? Because yesterday, when the president makes his big speech, all they hear is, oh yeah, that's what I like. Socialism is bad. Meanwhile, what is he doing? He has socialized and taken over the market between the president, Yellowstein, and Steve Mnuchin, and all the other flunkies involved here. Anyway, I know it's a long video, but I think it's an important one. And again, I need you. Share the video. Get it out there. Start talking about these things. Anyway, it's in your hands. Love you a lot. I will see you in the morning.